That's a fact. And no matter how unachievable that goal or dream might be, if you keep practicing and keep working towards it, one day you get very close.
So what?
Nobody cares. Train harder.
Been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Jake Paul is now training with Tyson Fury heading into the Anthony Joshua fight, and Fury says Jake is finally entering the realm of real fighters. He believes Jake is grinding toward his long-term goals and calls this matchup a massive moment in that climb. According to Fury, this isn't some influencer stunt. Jake has evolved, and that makes this fight much closer than people think.
And even if you don't actually achieve...
Jake Paul says he's chasing a future world championship, and his training camp is no joke. He's pouring effort into discipline, strengthening his conditioning, and fixing every weak spot. Jake insists that all his hard work will pay off as he fights to prove he's far more than a YouTube personality in boxing gloves.
The biggest target in your life, you might get close to it, so it's definitely worth pursuing. But someone who doesn't have goals and doesn't have a target.
Tyson Fury claims Jake can actually beat Anthony Joshua, pointing to Jake's rapid growth as a boxer. Fury says people must stop treating Jake like a novelty act. He's developed real focus, real technique, and the ability to shock fighters who underestimate him.
Treated like I'm Jake Paul or a famous person. No, like they treat me like I'm trying.
Boxing has always been both competition and business, and Barry Hearn makes that crystal clear. The veteran promoter says Joshua should absolutely consider fighting Jake Paul because the financial rewards are enormous. Forget pride. This matchup could generate numbers that go beyond traditional boxing logic, making it impossible to dismiss on money alone.
Possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's in spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look.
Who should fight Jake Paul? What's your view on that, Barry?
Money. Don't be silly. You know, I mean, you're mostly sensible, aren't you?
Mostly.
Of course, we're all purists at heart, but purism doesn't necessarily pay the bills. And boxing is a money business. And the day we don't accept that and then move on, we won't understand why certain things happen.
So if that fight's there next week and it's signable and they can do Joshua against Tyson Fury next year, take the Jake Paul fight in December, go and do it.
128%.
Sports analyst Simon Jordan has shared his perspective on Jake Paul's unusual rise in boxing.
Sports analyst Simon Jordan weighed in on Jake Paul's unusual rise. He says Jake has taken a completely different route, jumping from influencer to fighting elite boxers without the usual amateur buildup. In a sport built on slow progression and respect for tradition, Jake's unconventional path has stirred controversy and raised questions among boxing purists.
Boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for 5 million quid? I never got 5 million quid for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years, I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not, he's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him. As a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does, he blows me out the water. That's his line of work, but you're stepping into boxing, another profession. Now, to call the likes of Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy, but we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul.
Forget Jake
Paul.
A lot of tickets.
Paul. I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does. But Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua has earned a king's ransom.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to be fiddled with this, does he? Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, you know, when is enough enough? And I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last now, you've got more experience than me in this team, with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who have to make a certain amount of budget last.
Still, Jake Paul has given several fighters their biggest earnings ever, proving his financial power. Yet his behavior often rubs people the wrong way, calling out legends and taunting traditional boxers. He brings major money and attention, but he also disrupts norms, creating a mix of admiration and resentment in the boxing world.
Want to fight Anthony Joshua? Exclusive? Because I know that I will.
I'm so sorry for my English, but I have to. See, Jake Paul does lots of good things. He has a camp for kids where he, I guess, gives training and coaching and gloves and environment for kids in Puerto Rico. He helped lots of boxers to get the bigger purse than they deserve. He has done some good things. And you are kind of trying to be on his side, but then he says something like that. Like, you almost are on his side, and then he says, I want to fight Anthony Joshua and Canelo at the same night or whatever. Jake, fighting Anthony Joshua and Canelo is not fighting Tyron Woodley or 60 years old Mike Tyson with Alzheimer's. Anthony Joshua is able to literally kill you. No doubt. If his mission is to kill you on the ring, he will kill you. You lost against Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury won against you. What Anthony Joshua? What Canelo, my friend? Canelo, you would need the liver replacement after Canelo fight. I promise you. I don't know. So stop doing that shit. Do the good things you are doing, and we will be on your side. Just stop saying.
The Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup goes beyond paychecks. Some compare it to Jake's exhibition fight with Gervonta Davis, except Joshua isn't smaller or inexperienced. Joshua is a real heavyweight with a serious competitive mindset. Analysts say Joshua would treat this as a true fight, not entertainment, bringing real skill, real pressure, and real danger to the ring.
One, yes, that's the former heavyweight champ. Why is he fighting Jake Paul? And two, why is Jake Paul putting his health and well-being on the line? Because someone asked me on Twitter, Wade, if Jake Paul gets knocked out, will his career be over? Buddy, his life may be over if he gets knocked out by AJ, because that dude put Francis Ngannou flat on his back, and I had never seen Francis Ngannou hurt before. Again, it's boxing, not MMA. Jake has a little more experience, but we're talking about a massive size difference. AJ's still relatively young and still relatively got something left in the tank, and he's only fought the world-class guys for the last 10 years. This would be Jake's not only hardest fight, most dangerous fight of his career. If Jake is doing this, it could signal the last one. I'm not even joking. This could signal Jake being like, I'm having one more of these and I'm out. Because where do you go from Anthony Joshua? We'll get into that part in a second, but the Netflix thing. We know that Anthony Joshua is an exclusive fighter to DAZN. Eddie Hearn has stated that multiple times. AJ, I'm pretty sure, even has a piece of DAZN. I could be wrong about that, but he signed a mega deal years ago with them. So for this fight to take place on Netflix would mean DAZN would say, you can have one of our biggest cash draws, and I may be in a revenue share thing, or maybe Netflix pays them some money, but you can have our biggest cash draw and we don't have an affiliation with it. That seems a bit unrealistic. But having said that, this isn't a report from anybody in the camp. This is not MVP saying it. This is not Eddie Hearn saying it. This is Mike Coppinger, who I guess has talked to people in the camp. But an independent source saying that they are finalizing a deal. Not that they're in talks. They are finalizing a deal. So this is, again, we're talking 1 yard line, first and goal.
Gareth A. Davies points out Joshua's massive physical advantage. Standing 6'7" and significantly heavier than the 6'2" Jake Paul, Joshua's size, reach, and strength are major factors. Combined with Joshua's technical skill, it's a mountain for Jake to climb, and a spectacle fans can't ignore.
I'm not sure Anthony Joshua's going to play the game like everyone else.
And it could be fairly calamitous, I think, if Joshua stepped into a ring with Jake Paul. But we're going to watch it because we want to see Jake Paul get knocked the F out. We do. Everyone wants to see it. I mean, I've even said it to him. I was looking forward to Mike Tyson him knocking him the fuck out. Doesn't surprise me. He's looking for the biggest names out there, and it just shows that he's prepared to put himself on the line to promote himself.
Would it be more competitive than the Ngannou fight, in your opinion, or less?
That's a very good analogy. It's a very good comparison. Much less competitive. I mean, I think it's got to be at that level of exhibition bout. I think it's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. Very dangerous. He's probably got one chance to try and counterpunch. And if he catches Joshua, he might do something, but I see that as 100%.
Gareth also highlights Joshua's brutal knockout power, describing it as a mule-like strike that could end the fight instantly. Analysts warn that one mistake from Jake could lead to a sudden and devastating finish. Joshua's explosive power adds real stakes, making this a fight that mixes business hype with genuine danger and athletic drama.
This one, you got a guy who's 6'7" to Jake Paul 6'2", probably weighs 30 pounds more than him if he's 220, and who hits like blooming mule kicks. So, and you know, yes, Anthony Joshua's had issues against very skilled boxers, and he's been caught by Andy Ruiz, and he's been caught by Alexander Usyk twice, and out-hustled and out-boxed, and knocked out by Daniel Dubois. But Jake Paul is not the kind of not the kind of guy who is going to be able to pick him up.
There on an island by myself, everyone says the same thing, and he would potentially prove all of those critics wrong. Well, yeah, he would, maybe, unless there's some funny business, right? And for Anthony Joshua, as I said, this is kind of a lose-lose, right? Because if he wins, people are still going to say, well, you only beat Jake Paul, right? The man that lost to Tommy Fury, after all, right? That's the only loss in his record, Tommy Fury. You're telling me that Tommy Fury is going to beat him, and then Anthony Joshua's not going to beat him? So if he beats him, he gets no credit. And if he loses, then holy can you imagine? That would be the biggest downfall of any boxer's career. The reality is, he's not going to lose. There is no way on this earth that Jake Paul can beat Anthony Joshua in a boxing match. That's just a fact, okay? Look at what he did to Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou hits as hard as a Ford Escort, going 100 miles an hour or whatever that stat was. Comes from the UFC. He was the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Has a good go against Tyson Fury, but goes up against Anthony Joshua and gets flatlined. Every single punch that was thrown was landed, and every punch that landed put Francis Ngannou down, okay? So to stand there and think that Jake Paul, who's much, much smaller, who has way less experience, that doesn't weigh anything near him, is going to have a chance, and not to mention the technical abilities. Let's just talk about that. Not to mention the technical abilities or experience. Olympic gold medalist, remember, from back in the day, who's then gone on to become a true British boxing icon. We're talking about a worldwide boxing icon, let's be honest, right? There's no way